all things New Orleans Saints. This is Who Dat Discussion.
Who dat? Who dat? Who dat? Who dat? Who dat? Say they gon' be them Saints.
Powered by Overtime Media.
What is up, Who Dat Nation? Welcome into another film study here at the Who Dat Discussion. As always, I am your host, Andrew Galata. You can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Galata, and then also you can follow the Who Dat Discussion podcast on Twitter at the Who Dat Dis. We have a very interesting film study in store for you guys today, as we are going to look at David Onyemata. The Saints did sign him to a 3-year, $27 million deal here this offseason, and obviously he was here the last few years, now last 4 years for the Saints, and now they brought him back, which I thought was very interesting. A lot of people thought they would go forward with Sheldon Rankins, but it seems like they're going to at least go for with both of them this year, and then maybe next year they're going to go forward with just Onyemata, or maybe they'll re-sign Rankins too, but they definitely have Onyemata in the picture for the next 3 years. And I do think that Onyemata is a player that is a keeper for sure. Like, all of his physical aspects are so good, and little by little you see the technical stuff coming year after year, growth. And sometimes he doesn't always show it in the stats year by year, but he definitely shows it in the film, in my opinion. And I think there are a few stats that do show a lot of improvement, even though his sack total was actually less than 2018. Like, Onyemata had 12 QB hits, he only had 6 the year before. Like, that stuff I think matters a ton. And, if he's able to bring that here in 2020 and kind of convert those into sacks and then more tackles for loss against running backs and creating some pressure on the quarterback, I think you could definitely easily see Onyemata take that next step. And a lot of teams thought that, because a lot of teams are really interested in Onyemata, and the Saints are the ones that end up with him. So I think that was very, very interesting. And basically, in this film study, we're going to look at those physical traits that make him so good. We're going to look at the technique that has gotten a lot better, and I think could even get even better. And we're going to look at those plays where you could just see the technique shine, and I'm really encouraged by that. Not only the physical traits, but also his game really starting to develop into a veteran here. And not a veteran, but just a really solid starter here. I think that's a better word for it. Just like a player that's played now 4 years, now will be his 5th year in the NFL, and again, he's starting to learn how to become a starter, really be a pros pro here, pros pro starter, and not just like a role player. I think he could blossom here into a really good player here, and you definitely see all the skills for that. He just has to keep building and building and building, and I think you see it each year, and I think it will continue into next year. But I think we should just cut the film and just get right into this first play here. So, let's jump right into this first piece of film. We got the Saints, we got the Cowboys. David Onyemata is going to be lined up right over here. It's going to be an outstanding play against Ezekiel Elliott here against the run. We're going to watch it twice here, and then we're going to run it back and break it down. It's a great play. To me, that's just a wonderful job by Onyemata to penetrate the backfield to make a great play, win that first step. And that was really nice. He was able to really win that first step, because here you're going to see, let's just play it back from the very beginning. This is what the Cowboys are trying to do. They're going to do this zone running system here where they're going to have Elliott run this either stretch or zone, and then they're going to go boom, 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 boom. And they're really not going to block Jordan. It's really just going to be the tight end here, which obviously wouldn't really fare well for the Cowboys, but they just need Witten to just get a little bit of Jordan so he can just not make the play right away, because hopefully by the time Jordan's around to Elliott's way past the hole. Like, that's kind of the thing. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against 5. If they can all block, you see a hole should open up right away. So that should definitely be, a favorable matchup for the Cowboys here. And again, this is why it isn't, because you see Onyemata, this is kind of how it is. What the Cowboys have to do in this situation, they have to beat the Saints defensive linemen to a spot, really. So you're going to have Collins over here. He's going to have to beat Onyemata to this spot, because once he moves over here, this is going to be the open hole. And if he can beat Collins to this spot, if Onyemata can do that, he's going to get all the leverage and he will be able to make a play here, and that's exactly what happens. And that's all because of Onyemata's first step ability, his quick first step, and then he's able to win leverage off of that. So when I play this, you'll be able to see it really right there. So basically, he won. He's already moving this way, and then you have Collins who's really, I mean, he just lost that step because right here you have Onyemata here, and then now he has all the leverage. You see he's starting to now kind of use Collins as a jumping off point so he can kind of just put some leverage over here and then go boom over there. And he works it out to perfection here because if we keep playing, you see him kind of get caught here. But then, again, you see now Collins flailing, and then you see Onyemata shedding the block easily because he had all the leverage. And then now he's set up, boom, boom for the play. And now he's got a quick, easy point to the ball. Tackles very nicely because obviously he's a big dude that can make a tackle against a running back. And then he's going to finish the play. It's a wonderful job to really get that first step. And then once you've made that first step, once you beat the offensive lineman to that spot, especially in the zone running scheme, you're able then to really just break right through because you have all the leverage. Because if you're able to get to that point of leverage before the offensive lineman could, then that's how you win. And Onyemata is able to do it there. And to me, that is just huge. So that's a wonderful play by Onyemata. And look, that just shows his first step ability, his quickness, and definitely all of that great stuff there. So if we go into the second play here, you are going to see this is going to be obviously a different setup. Look, Onyemata is going to win not just only off of that first step. Now look, a lot of guys coming into the league, we saw Marcus Davenport do it when he was a young player, like these athletic guys that have a lot of physical skills, they're able to win off their first step, and that's really because of their athletic ability. That's, some guys just can't do what Onyemata does and beat guys to that first step, but he's able to do that, and if he can build on top of that, that's when you get those elite talents. Like, again, Akeem Hicks was a lot like David Onyemata as, he kind of had a few, not bad years, but just like okay years, getting better and better each year. The Saints let him go, they get rid of him, and then he goes into a star. You don't want to let that happen with David Onyemata because it's that same type of player, same type of D lineman, and you kind of see that here. Second play, definitely let you guys watch it. It's going to be his sack in this game, 1 of 3 all year. And to me, this is just a really nice job here, and it just shows his pass rushing skills, and he's got him as a 3-tech, but he puts it onto display here. So, as we're going to see, you're going to really, with just a nice bull rush there, get penetration and win. And that's something that a defensive tackle is going to do there. And he does it to perfection in a really nice job because you're going to see here on the rush, it's just really a nice move. And then it opens up for him because he gets that leverage. And obviously he's a big guy. He's going to use his physical abilities to his advantage. Because, again, he's a guy that's going to kind of have a really nice pass rush move here because it looks like he's kind of going to bull rush. And he does obviously use the bull rush move, but he's going to bull rush, but then also move through a hole to get to the quarterback. So here's the initial push you're going to see. So he's got push. So he gets his leverage and he gets the position by bull rushing, but then he's able to kind of create a path and then get to the quarterback. And then you'll see that he's already starting to do that. Like he bull rushed from here, but then he's going to bull rush and then get by him, not just bull rush him. So you're going to see, and then he opens it up. He kind of uses the other offensive lineman to push off and then create some energy there. And then it's able just opens up. He opens up the hole himself, and then he just goes right through it. It's an amazing play because he's able to use his physicality, but then also he uses some nimbleness. He uses a pass rush move to get to the quarterback, not just back up your offensive lineman. Like he's not just creating penetration, he's getting past the offensive lineman and making the sack and getting a free hit at the quarterback, and that's what you want to see. And that's a combination of your technique and your physical skills, and him basically being able to use his strength to open up the hole. Because there is a point there, if we just back it up, there is a point, even a little farther than this. Right here, you're going to see it. Look, it looks like he's covered up. He's got 2 guys on him, and he, usually, it's almost 2-on-3, or this should not be a sack. But he's going to use his strength, really, to open up. And this is also a little because you see this offensive lineman's going to get that pass rusher. But again, you see him, open it up. He pushes off this guy who looked like they had him in check. But he uses his strength to get by him and really get past him and get the sack. So he really goes from, here, and then he goes in. It looks like he's kind of covered here, but then he's able to open it up with his strength and get in for the sack. It's just a wonderful play. And it does show that he does have multiple pass rush techniques and ways to rush the passer to get to the quarterback. And as a defensive tackle, that is really big because he does use the bull rush technique, but he also uses a move to create a hole so he can get the sack, not just create penetration. And to me, that is really, really big there. And I think we should definitely be looking at it. So now that play is going to finish, and now we are going to go on to another game here. It's going to be Saints Cardinals, and I think this is a big one. 4th and 1. This is go time. And what does Onyemata do? Creates penetration, makes a play. That's all you want to see. Creates penetration, makes a play. And that's something that's huge. So obviously this angle is going to be the better one, as you're going to see. Creates that penetration and makes the play. And this is straight winning off leverage, because you're going to see it here really nicely. Look at this. Boom. Right there. He's got his hands up in the middle. And if you remember back to our Andrews Pete video, we talked about how Pete needs to put his hands in the middle to create that leverage. Well, it's really the inside guy that always wins. And if the defensive tackle has the inside and he's the lower guy, we always say the lower guy wins, right? So that's really going to come into play here. His hands are in the middle, and then he's also got the better center of gravity, got the better balance here, and he's basically going to just use his good footwork, and this is also good footwork and good planting and good base here. He's going to use all of that plus the good hand placement, and he's going to get all the leverage and then kind of just destroy this offensive lineman and make a play on the ball. So as we kind of go further, you see him there, and then kind of quick twitch, and it's a really nice job. And this also shows his lateral ability. He goes from here to here in one movement, and for, fluid, like extremely fluid. And for a defensive lineman, defensive tackle for that matter, to do that, that just shows he has all the tools to become a really nice player here for the Saints. And obviously, he's able to then stuff up the running back and make this one-on-one tackle. And again, that just shows you. That, to me, is a great play. You have basically getting leverage, using a really nice base, being the lower guy, having the correct hand placement, and then also, basically from there, he's able to use the kind of a lateral movement, get that penetration, but then take it a step further by then using a lateral movement to get to the ball carrier and then finish it up for the tackle for loss. It's a wonderful play here. And again, I do think it shows all of those athletic abilities that Onyemata has, and also it uses the strength ability that he has as well. And obviously some technique by getting the good base, getting the good hand placements, and that is really big too. But again, that was a huge play. Saints only up by 4 at that scenario. It's a 4th and 1. Cardinals really need it, and Onyemata steps up and makes a play. To me, that is really, really big. And it's definitely something that if he can do more in the future, and if he can really use plays like these and make them more apparent, and it gets more consistent and all that stuff, he is going to grow. And I'm not really worried about it that he's going to be able to do this, because he's going to have Rankins this year to grow. He's going to be able to learn off Rankins, and they're really going to learn off each other. They're going to get put in good situations so they can succeed. And then if they keep Rankins, if they don't, it's going to really do a nice gradual placement for Onyemata to set him as the starter here. And Rankins, if he leaves, then you kind of have that hole there. So I think that's what the Saints are looking to do this year, and use this as kind of a growing year, probably for both players, and then they can choose which player they want to start. And to me, this is just an amazing play, and it just shows you that he does have a ton of potential, maybe just as much as Rankins, because, again, those plays like those for a defensive tackle to make is really, really nice. And to me, that's amazing here. So next play, it's going to be against the Falcons. Saints ended up losing this game, but this is just a really nice pressure play for the Falcons here. They're trying to do a screen, but Onyemata has none of it. I think this side is obviously the better angle to break down and to look at here, as I always think with the defensive line at least. So you're going to see him lined up here, right side. And this is just a nice move. Kind of similar to the other move that we saw against the Cowboys. I think this is a little quicker, and he gets I think, to the quarterback a little quicker, because you're going to see him, but same type of thing. So we're going to see him here kind of get a nice hand placement, but then do I'm not going to call it a swim move, because it's not a swim move, but just the hand placement, he uses like a nice punch almost, or one of those moves, and to really get by him, because he's able to go like 1-2, and then it's gone. So you're going to see what Onyemata does here. He's going to be able to just beat him to a spot, and then use some nice hand placements, nice hand jabs to get by him and finish it off the play. But he's going to be able to really use that first step quickness. I think he always does, because he does have that in his arsenal. But now he's going to use some nice hand technique, use those hand jabs to end up kind of fending off this offensive lineman and getting to the quarterback here. So you're going to see, win that first step, because now look at that. He's already won over here. Like, if you're the offensive lineman, you don't want to be to the side. You want to be in front. and he's to get to that side, that means your defensive lineman's winning. And this is not the only occasion we saw Onyemata do this. So he does it very, very consistently, which you're going to be very happy if you're a Saints fan and you see this, because you're going to see he's going to be able to look at his hands on the outside, and we all know hands on the outside is not good leverage. We want to get on the inside if you're an offensive lineman, and he wasn't able to do that here for the Falcons. And you're going to see Onyemata then get by, because then really at that point the other tackle tries to help, but then Onyemata's really, once he gets by the first guy, then he's going to have really all that momentum going forward. And again, he uses a nice hand jab as well to get by that first guy. And now look at this. Straight shot at Matt Ryan. So if we back it up even a little bit, even if we back it up just a little, you're going to see this. And again, right here, you would think Onyemata's on the inside here, they're on the outside here, and the outside here. And that's not even enough. He split them. And that's why the hand technique and all that stuff, and that to me is really, really nice. Splits them, and then obviously he's able to get right into Matt Ryan's face and disrupt the play. It's a wonderful play. It shows that quickness. It shows the good hand technique. And again, that's stuff that you really want to see. And again, if he can use these physical attributes to his advantage even more consistently, he's able to pair that with his technique, we're going to see a lot of really good work. And this is just another play to add to that. And now, our final play here, it's going to be Saints and Titans. And this is a wonderful play here. And why I'm showing you this play, this is, I think, maybe one of his best plays. I don't know if it's his best play, but it's definitely one of his best plays. Because he's going to work in tandem with Demario Davis on this play. He's going to open up a hole for Davis. And then not only is he going to open up a hole for Davis to run through and make a tackle here, he's also going to beat his own man and then help Davis with the tackle. So let you guys watch it, as we always do, and you're going to see. And again, you see him then win. So it's not only that he allowed Davis to get that penetration, he also beat his man and made the play. So if we see it here, you're going to see Onyemata and Davis blow this play up. Onyemata opens up a space. Now you got penetration, and then both of them win. That's all you want to see. And when we play this back, how it's going to happen, so this is what the Saints want to do. They want Onyemata, and then also Jordan, to really use, at least, if you're not going to shed your blockers, at least kind of move them out of the way. So what they want to do is, so if you move them out of the way, and let's say Jordan does the same thing, you create a gaping hole here, and a gaping hole here to make the play. And that's the same thing with Brown. If he's able to move his guy out of the way, and then you have a Henderson able to move his guy out of the way, then you're going to have Klein be able to do that on the other side. But again, this is what we're looking at over here, and this is just an amazing play because he does that. Onyemata moves him out of the way, so then it opens up a spot for Davis to go through, and then it's not even just that, and that's good enough. Obviously, that would have been great, and they would have made the play. But Onyemata then sheds his own blocker and helps Davis with the tackle. It's an outstanding job here, and I'll show you guys step by step what I mean here. So you're going to see it right there. So he opens up this hole, so Davis will whoop, and you're going to see Davis goes in. But now also, he won. And then he's going to win, and then he's going to help Davis make the tackle. And look at that. Davis is obviously getting the lower half. Onyemata is getting the upper half, and it's an outstanding play here. And I do want to run it back to that just for a quick second. You're going to see Onyemata, look at the leverage again. Hand in here, and look where the offensive lineman's hands, over here. And again, what did we say? This is really off of a first step because he's able to, again, look, they're kind of parallel almost. It's not if you're an offensive lineman, you want to be like this. You don't want to be like this. You don't want to be parallel with the guy you're trying to defend. You want to be face to face. You don't want to be side to side. You want something like this. You don't want something like this. And Onyemata does that by his quick first step and then winning the hand placement because he's going to be able to shove the defender away and then open up a hole for himself to make the tackle here with Davis, as you're going to see there at the end of the play. You're going to see Onyemata kind of take the upper half, and then you'll have Davis take the bottom half, and that's just a really nice tackle and a duo tackle there to stop the runner. And again, that's textbook play. That's great playing. And for your linebackers and defensive line to play in tandem like that, it's something you love to see, and I hope that we continue to see it here in 2020. So, with all that said, I do want to wrap up this film study. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I think David Onyemata really brings a ton to a table. Like, I think the biggest thing that he does is that first step. Like, you saw play after play after play, he was winning on that first step, and I think that's I think something he's built around. Like he always had that first step. He's always been really athletic, and then he's built his moves around that, if that makes sense. And I think that's really big, and that's something that a lot of guys do. They build on top of things, they do amazing, and then those things become amazing, and they build on top of that, and they become even better at that. And I do think that Onyemata is doing that there, and it's not just that he has a really good first step. His hand placement's really good. We showed a play where he had a good hand jab, and then also to get to the quarterback and create that pass rush, which I thought was really nice as well. And then you saw that he was able to those hands were always in the right place, which is something you love to see. And obviously, look, not everything's perfect. That placement's not always there. That technique is not always there. But I wanted to show you in this film study is really his potential. And if he can make this more consistent, you're going to see him take over that starting role. And I think that it's very possible that the Saints want him to start, especially because they gave him the money. And I think that's something that should definitely be a storyline going into 2020 here. And again, we saw the obviously great first step, but then we also saw the good hand placement, as I said. We also saw the great base that he had. Like, that base was great. Like, his feet were always in good spots, and that helped him. Like, the lower half's always great. And that helped him get to those great sheds of the blocks and then tackles, and he's able to get lower than the blockers sometimes as well, and that creates leverage, especially in those short yardage situations. He's able to really create penetration that way, and I think that is really good as well. So I think all that stuff pairs up, adds up, that you can see another step in the right direction for Onyemata. And then I do think that, look, I think he's a guy that he had 12 QB hits last year. Now, again, he only had 6 the year before and 4.5 sacks. He had 12 QB hits this year, but only 3 sacks. So what does that show you? He just was like a little bit late. And just when you're a little bit late, like that just happens sometimes, luck. And then, sometimes it's just kind of how the ball goes. That's how it is. And then next year, he can come up with those same 12, and let's say he even gets a few more hits, QB hits here, and then that turns into 6 sacks, or even more. Like, maybe he gets 16, 17 QB hits, and he can turn that into 8 sacks or something, or 6 to 8 sacks, something like that. I think he can do that. And again, he's going to be playing with Rankins, and I think that's going to help him because that's going to put him in situations that he's comfortable in and that he's really going to succeed in. And then the Saints are going to put Rankins in spots where they think he's going to succeed in. And that's why you show that depth and you show that tandem here at the 3-tech defensive tackle spot. I am very confident of what the Saints could do at the defensive tackle position, and I'm really excited for just that position. I love the depth there. Like, also you have Shy Tuttle that we haven't talked about in this video, but again, we have Shy Tuttle there, which is great. Again, I think that the interior of the Saints defensive line is a huge strength for the team, and that's why they're always really good against the run, and they continue to win the trenches, and that's why. And, you see plays like these, and obviously other plays by Rankins and Tuttle. You just see why the Saints are able to really win in those areas. But I think that's all I have for you guys in this video. I just want to say, guys, definitely like, subscribe, comment. I want to hear what you guys think about Onyemata. Do you think he's going to take the next step? Do you think he's going to start over Rankins? Like, what do you guys think about this tandem that the Saints are running this year? I'm extremely confident in it. I'll definitely want to hear what you guys have to say as well. But I think with all that said, I want to say thank you, run it back, and who dat?